He has clarified his stance of forming political coalition ahead of the 2027 election. In a recent statement, Obi emphasized that his involvement in any coalition is not about securing political positions, but about addressing the press issues facing Nigeria. And we've been reading the story about him and Atiku probably forming, coming out for the presidential election, that they probably reached an agreement, but that has not been confirmed. What do you think about this?
Well, the opposition in Nigeria today is highly fragmented, and in order to have any possible potential of unseating the incumbent, there has to be some sort of collaboration, some sort of coming together. And of course, talks are always underway, although they are secret and they are hidden and they are not visible to those of us who are on the outside. But I can guarantee you that talks are ongoing among all the different splinter groups, whether it's SDP, PDP, even NNPP, Kwankwaso in Kano. Everybody is jockeying for position because remember, the first duty of politics is to get elected and get re-elected. So that's all that anybody's concerned. If you think about it, this 2025, we're still a whole 2 years away from 2027, and there's already so much dust in the air about um, possible coalitions and cooperations because there's recognition that they can't unseat the incumbent individually. So, who are the beautiful brides that are out there? Of course, you know that in the 2023 election, the second and the third were Atiku and Obi, PDP and Labour Party. And when you look at their individual scores, if you join their scores together, they actually jointly scored more than what the eventual winner actually scored. So, on the face of it, from a statistic standpoint, it makes sense for them to look at collaborating, forming a coalition, and joining together to run against the incumbent because their support, if it's still in place, actually will outstrip what the incumbent can garner himself um, based on the 2023 results. So I don't doubt that there is some discussion going on at various levels. But politics, they'll keep it close to their chest. Peter Obi basically is playing with words. He says, I'm in a coalition against bad governance, I'm in a coalition against poverty, I'm in a coalition against hardship. So that's all highfalutin rhetoric, right? Um, he's not telling us what is really going on. But, you know, unofficial sources have said that there's an offer on the table for Atiku to run as the front runner, the presidential candidate, and Peter Obi to be his vice presidential running mate. And Atiku has said he will agree to one term only, and that he will then support Obi as his vice to now become president after his own one term. Well, the problem with that, of course, is that based on the rotational presidency, rotational power sharing that we've upheld in this country, at this moment, we're currently running 8 years for the South. So I don't see how an Atiku ticket can ever carry the day in 2027. Unless, of course, they reverse, which I don't see it happening, and Obi is the one who is running presidential candidate, and somebody else from the north, whether Atiku or anybody else, become his running mate. Because Obi then has a legitimate claim that this is the South's turn and I'm from the South. So I have a legitimate right to run this ticket. But if they do it the way the rumor is spreading now, that Atiku will have the ticket and Obi will be his running mate, I think that ticket is dead in the water.
Mm. All right, but how would this proposed ticket influence voter behavior, especially Peter Obi's supporters, as some of them has viewed him as a presidential candidate instead of vice presidential candidate?
Well, it's not unusual for those who have run for president before and lost to now become a running mate to a stronger candidate. But Peter Obi ran a very strong race. Remember, I mean, he came third. He was not too far a distant third. He ran a strong race. And who knows if he had been in a different party that had a more formidable and robust uh, followership across the country, he might have even done better. So you can't have had such a strong showing and then go back to be second fiddle. That's what the obedient movement is saying. Obedient movement is saying, no, our candidate made a very strong showing that could have actually propelled him into the number one office, he's not going to go and play second fiddle to anybody at this point because he himself is a formidable person with a very strong following. So I don't see that it'll kind of be like you having been a minister in a government and then you're not going to become an essay. Or, it will be a step down for Peter Obi, especially because he was a strong candidate. To have gone from being a presidential candidate to being a running mate. I'm not sure I can see him in that position. And I think that's probably why. But I do see that he has to collaborate with somebody somewhere if he's running again. I don't think on his own he has what it takes to be able to beat the incumbent. So he does have to collaborate with somebody. How it's going to work out, that's what politics is all about. Politics is about deal making, you know, trade offs, compromises, patronage. There's so many things involved. So there's a lot of deal making going on